Okay, Comcast, Vivo, Fine. Okay, so basically we're looking at three different definitions of EcoLeaf Mega Platforms, which is sponsored by EcoHerb, which is a certified authorizer in being able to complete transactions as far as duplicates for distribution services at the time. So it's just another one of those MoneyGrams or PFGs and MoneyGram, and being able to deposit more of that whole distribution site for its own website is pretty much where we're using more of that technology. And basically what we're doing is we're being able to in this jurisdiction, unlike nobody else's, this is just all new things that came up 2013 of 1869 at the time. So it's pretty much what comes out at 1869 of 2013, and it's pretty much what we do to interest ourselves and be able to become a new beginner of newer propositions in the local area of not just Boston, not just Chicago, not just St. Louis, Missouri, but down in Dallas, of Waco, and Lubbock, and Abilene as well. So it's pretty much where you get an EcoLeaf, and EcoLeaf Mega Platform is playing with EcoHerb, which has different conspirations um, of trucking systems based off of ABF, PFG, TNI, and then you got the categories and status that go with those trucking lines that make it more applicable towards its availability. So that's pretty much where you're using more of 69 hours, 89 hours, 120 hours to avail those times. So it just looks up a co-manager or a co-advisor or a district manager or a general manager or a store manager at the time. So it's pretty much where you're looking at those, but you're looking at a general manager or a district manager type of sort of detail as far as you being able to know more about the coordinates of the district coordinator at the time. So that's pretty much what the district manager does, as it looks up toward what you're doing at your local location, and what's the long term benefits of your local benefits at the time. So it's pretty much looking at one type, other than it being more than many types. So it's pretty much where you're using at least 37 different types versus having 220 different types or two different types that go different ways. That's pretty much where you're looking at more of affiliated type that's more concentrated within this method at the time. So that's pretty much where you're getting more with EcoLeaf Mega Platform. So other than that, you're working with EcoHerb, and what it's doing is using the truck distributions along with MoneyGram, TransUnion, and GameFly, and is using T-Mobile mobile plans and broadbands along with the banking services of Prosperity, Frost, and Broadway, and it's being able to use that there. So it's pretty much where you're using more of Google Docs and Google Fi there to explain the coordinate codes of the differences and similarities there. And you use the different Luxury Deluxe signs to symbolize orange, green, and blue similarities. And that's basically where you're using different facts and different cons for both sides of the blue, green, and the blue, orange, and green statistics of the back. So you're using it at the beginning and using it at the end, and that's pretty much where you're using more of those type of conflicts at the time. So it's pretty much using conflicts for basically solving details as far as having a seminar to solve, and having scenarios to upkeep, and understand more about having a good duration of time to upkeep with it, and understanding more about how to keep it positive, and keep everybody in a happy stance, in a happy form, to endure more time through the production, and being able to know more about having being able to transfer 637 hours in 6 hours is pretty much where we're using EcoHerb and PMC2 squared at. That's pretty much where we're using as far as EcoHerb 747. So EcoHerb 747 uses Yugo and PMC2 squared as another subscribe program and channel that gives it more compassion toward being a MoneyGram, or being a MoneyGram Plus, or in the areas of Jackson Hewitt and MoneyGram and ADP. So it's being able to use a transfer that circulates different currency exchanges within the Broadway Bank, or the Frost Bank, or the Prosperity Bank on Google Docs. So that's pretty much what we're doing to update more into the locations that we have with those companies or with those organizations. So it's pretty much using everything that we have as far as it being more inspired by EcoHerb 747. So you have a little bit more of the basics of everything within one storage compartment, and it's being able to be more literal toward making sense toward being part of a major component within Luxury Luck or Billworth Law Industries and Enterprises. So that's pretty much what we wanted to do as it came more in collapse with TNI, ABF, PFG, McLean, and so forth. That's pretty much what we wanted to do to update those truck lines with MoneyGram and PFG, and that's pretty much where we're using more of T-Mobile benefits and broadbands to promote more for the mobile service of those types of commerce distribution profiles that you expand in the future from 2023 to 2027. So I was working with Christmas, of Thanksgiving, of Easter, and working at least 67,000 hours a week, trying to get that completed at the time. So at the end of the day, that's pretty much what we're working with as far as having something for sophomore year in college of 2023 and 2020 and 2026. So that's pretty much where we just going the longer rate, we're going the concentrated rate, and being able to get as much as we can for the amount that we promoted for ourselves. So that's at least working with at least 10,000 dimes, and working with at least the normal amount that we can get for the standard form of the classification that we was, knowing that we was a part of Mr. Catfish, we was a part of Avid, we was a part of Swag, we was a part of TCS, we was a part of Sam's, we was a part of Capital Reserve, we was a part of Bob Buick Museum, was part of Dale Diamond, was part of Round Rock, was part of JJ Pickle, was part of Sam Houston State University. So we had a lot of intuitions that we was a part of. So that's at least running up at least $60 million a month at the time. $60 million in reference at the month. Whether it's at different locations or a different group or different coordinate at the time. So that's pretty much where you're working with Thanksgiving dinner of EcoHerb, Yugo, and PMC2 squared as you get your total consumption rate balance of how you make more for 3767 $3,767 for Yugo and PMC2 squared, just for it being an extra midpoint of a common attributed society at the time. So, this basically being able to inform you more about what the central market does, or more of what the GNC Center does. So, that's pretty much a good thing to learn about as you learn about biology or U.S. history or U.S. government, and, learning more about, how to feed yourself and how to build more of a consumption rate for yourself. So, that's pretty much a little objective of what you go through on a normal daily basis. But, that's not the major point that we talk about. We talk about tax reforms at the time. So, this was strictly business. I talk about tax reforms and, being able to know about insurance adjusting and, working with Jackson Hewitt at the time. So, that's not the only person, EcoHerb is not the only person that loves Yugo at the time. So, that's pretty much dealing with, different profiles of Yugo and dealing with Yugo in and out, whether it's 60X plus 3. It's pretty much where you're working with 60X plus 3 and, understanding more about the accommodation of office works and in real time associates at the time. So, it's pretty much where you're talking about 1927 to 2049 and working at least, 40 hours, 40 years, 40 months. So, it's pretty much just getting the team philosophy out on, land, sea, and water of, military bases and aircraft aviation. So, that's pretty much where it's basing, majority of his time, instead of it being cars, is aircraft aviation. So, that's pretty much just working with the interest and the exit of, paying for your pass and paying for your interest fee and, being able to get your trans tax, more prominent for its portion. So, it's working with at least $67,677.74. So, that's pretty much working from Penske to Boston to Chicago at the time. So, that's pretty much working with at least 375 different locations that know about those objectives. So, at least that there's at least 3,725 neighborhoods that could be updated with that type of acknowledgement from EcoHerb and PMC2 squared in Google Docs of Outlook at the time. So, that's pretty much where you're looking at Comcast, Vivo. You're looking at the 2008 of 2009 of Huey, Jock, Young Jock, and you're looking at the Jermaine Dupri. I Think They Like Me, Atlanta's Finest. So, you're looking at Travis Barker and Bobby Valentino. So, you're just looking at the objectives of, the current persistency that involves the character and, the trouble that keeps a soothing sound rhythmic within the compassion of music at the time. Music is supposed to be something that thrives us to keep going and, be able to use as an endurance or, more of a motivation to keep striving for, better benefits, instead of it being $69 or $690. We wanted to be $69,999, and instead of it being $69,999, it could be $6,090. So it's just getting a senior corporate look of where you could be after 1897 of 2007. So I was just pretty much looking at Averett, Sam's. You looking at Stephen Transport. You looking at CR England. You're looking at ABF. You're looking at Arnold. You're looking at Swift. You know, you're looking at a good fashion of trucks as well. So, you know, it's pretty much as you're using a tracking field on, you know, whether you're going from Smithville to Waco or Dallas to Houston at the time. So, you know, it's pretty much where you're using more of the Verizon of Waco, of the Verizon of EcoHerb at the time. So, you know, it's pretty much where we're using different codes and different patterns to build a more trilogical set for at least 1,000 a year. So, you know, that's pretty much where we've been able to use more reference toward, you know, our common native lands, and, you know, being able to get more intact with Boston, Connecticut, Jamestown, and, you know, being able to know more about those decencies within within John Adams, Andrew Jackson, Sam Houston, and Leonardo da Vinci. That's pretty much what we're using, you know, the whole detail of PMC2 squared distribution center. So, you know, that's pretty much what we plan to make more benefits for, as we make 60 benefits, 90 benefits, 30 benefits, and we use combined like terms of second separation of powers of process of elimination. So, you know, that's pretty much what we're using, you know, majority of that classification on Articles of Federation, the Bill of Rights, and you know, the main thing about it is, you know, we just want to make sure we stabilize. So, you know, the main thing we got to do is, you know, make sure we find that stabilizer, and you make sure it's as acceptable as possible. You know, it's pretty much where we want to be able to be. You know, we're at a time where we've been working overclocked for over 60 months, 80 months, 20 months. So, you know, that's pretty much where we got to be able to make sure our clothes it has a nice wash seam to it. So, you know, that's pretty much where you got to be able to understand more about getting our clothes done at an estimated time. So, you know, it's pretty much working with 60,000 hours of 6,000 hours of 60 hours and 80 hours of, you know, being able to go to work and using the restroom and eating and, you know, being able to shower, you know, for 671 days, and, you know, understanding more about, you know, the 4-month characteristic of 47, 71 months being carried over of ABF, of PFG, and TNI. So, you know, it's pretty much as you making 67 semesters, 74 semesters, and 24 semesters. That's pretty much as you're using more deposition for your own professional successful hood for 2006 to 7th grade at the time. So, you know, it's pretty much where you're getting a bigger category of what you should be learning in the employment allowance. So whatever it is pretty fun. So, you know, it's pretty much where you want to be able to get a good gist of whatever you like, and, you know, be able to expand whatever you like, and, you know, be able to make a description in your own words, and, you know, be able to use your own diction for your own conversation of your books that you like to read more often. So, you know, if it has a point and it makes a clarified point to it, you know, it's pretty much where you're using more between your studies and the company studies, which is between the Polar Express, the Chronicles of Narnia, and Polar Express, the Chronicles of Narnia, and The Outsiders. And, you know, the thing about Outsiders, the Outsiders teach you more about navigation and coordinates, which is on world geography, and, you know, being able to teach you more about the navigations of those coordinates is pretty much we're using 2014 Navigator to 2018 Navigator, which is going from 4,000 to 80,000 in 2 years. So that's pretty much as it made a more updated model for itself from 2004 to 2018. It's still selling that same old trend. So that's pretty much as it became more of its navigators typeset. That's pretty much where you got to see more of a trendy setting of something that's been out for a while, and being able to be known for a certain device of tenacity for a while. So whatever it is that we like about a car is that it has multi-standard programming at the time. So it's being able to make more standard form of cars at the time. So it's pretty much being able to produce a mad performance of cars at the time. Instead of it being it's 61 or 91 or 71 cars being made of that 2021 year or 2023 year at the time. So that's pretty much where you starting on brand new years, and you're working with over 681 cars at the time. Working with Ball Cones, Dick Nichols, Brentwood, Anderson Mill, North Cross Mall, Huddle, Tech Ridge. You're working with that part, and that's not the only car that's out there. You got the ATS out there too. So that's a wonderful thing to be prepared for, especially when you're working with the 2023 to 2024 ATS. So that's pretty much where you're working with at least the New Year's of the seasons to come at the time. So that's pretty much where you're working with a bigger field of seasonal holidays, and working with at least $6.6 million in reference to build more of a maximum public storage for what you could do to complete more for the belongings, and more for the studio availability of sound at the time at 1961 into 2021 to 2041. So that's pretty much where you're using more of 67, 71%. So that's pretty much where you're using more of 60 million with 60,000, and using it 806 times to promote more for 50 people being able to get their checks and being able to eat more what they desire. So that's being able to put your $50 foot forward, and being able to purple, red, and white, and get that $50 bonus introduction bonus out, to where you can have a good perception of a good preview to handle. It's pretty much what we're talking about in the future of that good stuff. So that's just practicing more of nationalism, of U.S. representative of District 10 and District 35. So it's pretty much, as more about the mid-state of the Great Plains in 1937 to 2037. You're learning more about Colorado. You're learning more about Texas. You're learning more about Nebraska. You're learning more about North Dakota. I'm learning more about Kansas, Kentucky. So that's already working with at least 637 states, as you make more for 637 ounces of water that's being prominent at the time. So that's pretty much as you start more for your day, and end your day with farming, and understand more of USDA farming with the ZARC of Aquafina, specifications at the time. So, I was working with 67 bottles, 47 bottles, 37 bottles. So, I was already working with at least 30 different specifications within the operations of your mogul, as you need to be able to know more. You need water, you need GDP, you need that's pretty much that $50 notification that I just told you about. So, that's pretty much something that you need to be focused on in the future. So, that's being able to focus on Scion, that's focusing on Acura, that's focusing on Lexus, that's focusing on Mitsubishi. You know, you have at least 671 of those cars going out every February 22nd of 2018 from 1816, and you know, it's pretty much where you've been, you know, wanting to be more part of the city municipal, and you know, being able to be part of the different chronicles that separate you from the benefactors of yellow, blue, and green benefits at the time. So, you know, that's pretty much working with 67, 71% interest, 671% points of compounds at the time. So, you know, that's pretty much working with at least 67, 71 different points of interest at the time as you gain more interest toward you know, more positive acknowledgments at the time. So you know, other than that, you know, it's not a hardcore job that you're learning for. Neither one of those careers are a hard working job. You know, you just gotta you know, maintain your position, and you know, your separation of powers form, just like if it was your W-2 or if it was your Declaration of Independence. You got to know what it is that you have the right of in 1897 from the base start from 1897 to 2010. And, you know, that's pretty much where you're looking at more of the singular deposition of how to promote more for those causes and those relations. And, you know, it's pretty much working with 631 votes for Lloyd Doggett, 731 votes for Greg Abbott, and 740 votes for Mitt Romney. So you know, it's pretty much working with at least 740 votes for them as they make more for and make at least 741 gallons of milk, juice, and water for themselves. And you know, that's pretty much just being able to start the early morning season of the semester out. You know, being able to know more about Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter. You know, that's pretty much where you get more of that decorated design of the 671 month of April to November in there. So, you know, that's pretty much where we come out at the end of the year, most likely, and, you know, understanding more about 2008 of 2012. We like to get the end of the year now that it's 2022. So, you know, it's pretty much working with Workday, WeWork, Frost, Broadway, and Prosperity of $947.47 in deposit every day. So, you know, it's pretty much building a ratio for at least 12 months and, you know, being able to use it for macaroni, mashed potatoes, or common goods of pretty much what we need to promote more for the essential effects of cheddars, razzoos, Fridays, chilies, you know, being able to use it for a reference tax of what we need to pay for. And, you know, the thing about reference tax, it may sound like a display, it may sound like it's a wallpaper of some sort, and it actually is, or it might sound like it's just one of those display copies at the time. You know, being able to know more about, you know, newspaper and magazines, might look like that. So, you know, I was just working on, you know, natural day. That's just working with the natural day vocabulary of those good things. So, you know, I was working with 971 months of Shell, going to Exxon, going to Shortstop at the time. So, you know, that's at least working with 371 hours of deposition at the time. So, you know, that's pretty much how you using Polo outlets and using the whole 2017 of 2027 at that time. So, you know, that's basically turning your life around. You know, it took 4 to 8 years to do so. It took a lot of animosity. It took a lot of endurance. It took a lot of strength. It took a lot of energy and mental strategy to get something correct for, you know, the correct ability you want to feel is the best way that you can interpret the way that you feel about your personal profiles, just because your identity is so singular at the time. So, just because you have family, and just because you have associates that have a closer resemblance of what a closer group could be like after 9 different organizations have organized every night for at least 12 months, 30 months, and 90 months. So it's pretty much getting a full deposition from E-Verify to January 22nd to 4th of July at the time. So it's just being able to be more perhaps with 2008 of 2022, and getting more of Cadillac ATS, and understanding more about the parabolas of SeaWorld and amusement parks, and being able to be part of something that's greater than the average atmospheric world at the time. It's pretty much we're using more of a continental category for this stuff. So it's pretty much air, something that you're looking at within the space stations of today's nations. So not only is it in the space stations, but it's in the atmospheres as well. So it's pretty much something you look for every day and every year to provide for in the future. So that's pretty much something that we look for in 997, 47. So basically we still on 240, 42, and we've been on 80 hours so far, 47 times. So it's pretty much, as we barely getting the start of 2008, we've been here for 347 months in 49 hours. So it's pretty much as you getting more of the looks of that Tyler Perry, Why Did I Get Married, or the Tyler Perry House of Pains. That's pretty much what we're looking at as far as that go on Monsters Inc. and Madagascar and Surf's Up at the time. So that's pretty much what we're looking at the whole 2008 of 2022. So it's being able to know more about the fashions of Spider-Man, Shark Tale, and so forth into that belief. So it's basically getting years of CNN performance out, or looking at Comcast statistics, and looking at Comcast statistics at the time, or being able to look at MSN or VLAD or Vivo. You got like 6 screens running, and they tell a full proposition of all types of depositions that you talk about within your Atlanta to your Detroit to Chicago and Jackson Hewitt performances. So it's pretty much working with Jackson Hewitt being one of the number one dealers other than Liberty Mutual or Progressive or State Farm at the time. So that's pretty much as we're using 41% of 647 different interests, and that's pretty much where you're just being able to be more recommended towards the capitalism that goes toward that GDP rating. So it's pretty much working with 55 different sectors, 90 different sectors, 97 different sectors, and it's happening all just like the registration is completed at the hour. So it's pretty much what we're working with to inform you more of that information, that general information. So it's at least a whole bunch of information that's been here since 2007 that we can work with at Pickle Reform, that we're still working with under our little lieutenant. So that's pretty much where we're practicing more of our lieutenant police of Camp Mabry, and working on at least 979 hours and 46 cents of that district, and being able to work with the whole compound as far as it being 971 41 months of Spotify, Shark Tale, and TransUnion Reflect at the time. So it's pretty much working with 971 41%. So it's pretty much working with at least 2 months, 2 semesters, and 2090 44. So that's pretty much as we working with more commencements for 2044 and 2064. That's pretty much as we start to play ball with 2022 and 2024, being able to understand more about the senior corporate level of, district management and district coordinator, and part of that detail at the time. So that's pretty much as we focusing on the ability to get over here and understand more about two complies, two compositions, and being able to know more about what we wanted each other to do that was different from each other, that make it a good point from each other. That would have been me in 12th grade at 2009. So that's pretty much where I had at least 971 answers off, in 2007 of 2022. So, that's pretty much, that code, that's pretty much where it was to Derek's imagination. Now that we had a better imagination of what it was, that's pretty much what we want to be able to do as we figure out more depositions of bigger performances by Mr. Catfish and more in Catfish Industries. So, that's pretty much what we're doing to establish greater assemblies within the ceremony of today, and these hours of income. So that's pretty much working with 971%. So that's pretty much working with districts of reunions that empower and that inspire those things. So that's pretty much working with 971 41%. So that's pretty much working with Hulu. It's working with Hulu. That's working with Spotify. That's working with Penske coordinates. It's pretty much working with the whole native lands of 1907 to 1947. So, that's pretty much where you're looking at that whole jurisdiction of purple, orange, and green benefits. So, that's pretty much where you're using Wimberley to Bryan at the time. So, that's pretty much how 21 goes from Bastrop to Elgin at the time. So, that's pretty much focusing on FX or Fox 7 News or AccuWeather, and that's pretty much the end of that philosophy. Thanks, bye.